Not a second or another minute, not an hour, another day. But at this moment with my arms outstretched, I need you to make a way as you have done so many times before. Through a window or an open door, I stretched my hands to thee. Come rescue me, I need you right away. I need you now, I need you now, I need you now, I need you now. Not another second or another minute, not an hour of another day, but Lord, I need you right away. If I never needed you before to show up and restore all of the faith that I let slip while I was yet searching the world for more, the truest friend I have indeed. You're my best friend, I know in need. I stretch my hands to thee. Come rescue me, I need you right away. I need you.
This is the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. And now, here's your host, Miss Tanya Free.
Today is Wednesday, October the 25th. Welcome to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. I am Tanya Free, joined by my wonderful friends, former Richmond Councilman Bill Johnson. How are you?
I'm doing fine, lady. Thank you for having me back.
Good. Thank you for being here. And also with us is Eric Balsaw. How are you, friend?
Good. Glad to be here.
Good. And also with us is Maurice Talley. How are you, friend?
Doing good, thankful.
Well, thank you for being here. And also with us is Algie Jones. How are you, friend?
Doing good. Blessed.
Good. I'm glad you all are here today. And working behind the scenes is Marcus Evans and Mr. Free. Thanks to all of our listening friends. We want you to join the conversation. Phone lines are open, 804-321-1010. Our toll-free number, 844-321-1010. Or you can text us at Tanya Free 63975 or download the TuneIn app to listen to us on your mobile phone live by dialing 712-832-2784. Thanks to our listening friends at AM/FM 247. Once again, let me welcome all of our listening friends. We want you to please join the conversation, give us a call, because it takes all of us to share our thoughts and opinions, especially with what's going on in the media nowadays. There's just so much going on. I mean, it's hard to actually keep up. I don't know about you all, but I am exhausted just trying to, on a day-to-day basis. 45 was just on, the news just now saying a whole bunch of this and that. And before you can comprehend what he said, not even comprehend, take in what he's saying, is something else that's going on. Before we start, I want to extend our prayers and condolences to the families of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, Sergeant Dustin Wright, Sergeant Brian Black, and Sergeant Jamil Johnson. So U.S. soldiers that were killed in Niger, which remains unclear as to what happened, especially with Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. That one bothered me the most because, from what I understand, his body was recovered 48 hours later. And, when I heard that, I'm like, where was the breakdown? And also, too, I guess, why were they even there? It's still, I know, under investigation, but it's very troubling with things that are going on and you can't get answers to at least those two questions. And the other thing that is extremely disturbing is how insensitive the president was. And I shouldn't even, I don't call him president, but in this situation, I'm just so troubled by the way he handled the matter. Very insensitive to Ms. Johnson, the widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, and saying to what is reported, saying to her that he knew what he signed up for, and also too, he didn't know LaDavid Johnson's name when he spoke to her. Like I said, it is overall disrespectful and insensitive, and I just can't. How low can you go? This to me is rock bottom. This is rock bottom. When you all heard it, what did you think?
Well, I'm gonna start off by
Yeah, let
saying
him start off.
I said a month ago I'm praying for a blood clot or heart attack.
Okay,
The church say
okay,
amen.
we're not going to go there. No,
I know.
no,
You know
we're
what
not
I'm
going to do
saying?
that. No, because
we are
because
so
you don't,
passive
you
with
don't.
stuff. They
No,
all do the
but
most
there
vile
are
stuff
other.
to us, and we
I
always gotta
know,
act like
but
take
there
the
are
higher
other
road.
ways. There are
I ain't
other
trying to
ways.
go high all the time.
But-
I'm
no,
going low.
but-
There are other
What-
ways to handle that. We
I am
cannot
going
get on
to
their
God.
level. We can't get on their level.
Yeah, we
No,
can.
we can't do that.
I want his butt
Well,
on
I
the
mean,
earth,
we
and
have-
God have
Okay,
him upstairs.
okay, I'll be praying for you.
But,
then. Okay.
but again, this guy let us know straight off the bat, he does not care about us. He don't care about nobody whose last name's not Trump. He don't care. And we don't love us. He don't care about what? You talk about
What you
those
expect?
things. Where was the body? This, that, and third. You don't know what went on in that remote area in that jungle with command forces, right?
Right.
The most indignant thing that I think happened to her was when they brought his body back and wouldn't let her see it.
Right. I agree with
That
you.
was the
Oh,
biggest affront to me because you don't know what's in there. It could be a bag of rocks.
Right, or nothing at all.
Yeah. So
Now, my question would be as to is there any way she could have gone to
I'd have it legally exhumed myself. How you gonna tell me I can't see it? It's mine. How you gonna do that?
I don't know. I don't know what military policy is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
before we go that far,
So
Maurice?
I guess basically what we're talking injustice is no consideration, no compassion. Like understand what Bill's saying, understand the feeling that my brother has. However, like you said, we have to stay a level above all of the mess. But by the same token, my main concern is not so much the one that's in there as the volumes of people that put them there, the attitudes you talked earlier about the situation right here in town, which is troubling, right? Not
You're
too
right.
far from where I live.
The
but
short
other-
pump situation.
Yeah,
Right.
other instances that are going on with the younger people.
Right.
So this attitude is bad. One thing that we always talk about that we want our children to know about the slavery and all that, but also those who perpetrated the slave, their ancestors need to know this impropriety and had the chance to be out in South Dakota and get some understanding about what really happened to a lot of the Native Americans. So when we look at what this particular group of people has done over years, they know no different. And none of this makes it right. None of this makes it more tolerable. And so what we have to do, and brother, I don't want to ever come across as correcting, but I understand what you're saying about, but we can't pray evil on no one because then we are really going against God. And like I said, I understand the anger, but we have to contain it. It says be angry but don't sin. We have to do the best we can
Rise above it.
every day that we're here to.
plus he's already suffering. I mean, he's old and docile.
Right. But we don't we don't hope no.
I'm an Old Testament man.
So, but what I'm saying, I'll just say
Eye for an
this.
eye.
I'll just say this. Been studying the book of Romans and taking a course that this is what we're doing for probably about 6, 7, 8 months.
Well,
And one of the,
in-
let me just finish this talk. I don't want to lose this. One of the things to realize when you talk about the Old Testament, that the law was given in the Old Testament. The Jews felt they had advantage because they got the law first. But the law is written only Jesus could manifest the law. So what flesh couldn't do is Jesus paid that price. So when we talk about the law in the Old Testament, it didn't, Jesus' crucifixion didn't get rid of the law. It upheld it.
Yeah, but I'm a born again Christian, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna walk
but the
this-
thing
I'm
is,
gonna walk
okay.
Jesus' path now.
Well, let me say this: faith without works is dead, and we have to do something. No, it's very true. We have to do something. We can't just, I understand you're being human and you're being angry. That I understand that. I feel the same thing.
I am angry.
Well, I am angry. I am upset about it, but for the mere fact that you have a American soldier fighting for this country, and some kind of way, you know, his body wasn't found with the others, you know, 2 days later, and then the way the widow was treated was very disrespectful. I mean, it was, and he should have been honored along with the others.
Everything they do, they use violence and the most ignorant standards, and we have to always take the high road.
We'd have to, but we have to stand
No, we
together
ain't
when we
got
do it.
to.
Let me go to Algie. Algie?
My take on this is that, as we stated earlier, you know what Trump is all about.
Right.
We knew this before he got elected and after he got elected. And once he got elected, then we had the people coming out of the closets,
Right.
the ones that wanted to come out of the closet a long time ago. So we're seeing here, even about the gentleman in the service that
Right.
served this
David
country.
Johnson. Mm-hmm.
That served this country, it still comes back to a black and white issue.
Very
I don't
much
care
so.
who dies and who don't die. If you're black, it's one issue. If you're white, it's another issue. You can even go to kidnapping or however. We lose black kids every day. You don't hear about that on the news.
That's
Once
true.
they lose a white kid, you hear all this goes right on the news.
You're right. You're right. And I just, this situation bothers me. You know, we talk about police brutality and, you know, being shot down and justice not being served. Now you serve this country and you still, you know, this seemed to be racial to me. I don't know about you all. Do you all think this is racial?
Well,
Yeah,
I'll give you a personal testimony. So at age 12, my dad died. My dad had drank many years of life, but my dad served in World War II. It wasn't until I was around 17 that I really realized probably what he faced, you know, being in war at that time, how he was treated probably even in combat, as well as we know what it was like coming home even years after that for our military, especially African Americans.
Right.
So none of this is said to accept what's going on, but like Bill said, I take it that we have to adjust. And that's not saying in any way roll down, but we have to find a way to navigate through all these troubles. And what's happened in the last few days it's almost like they always talk about when a person get married, you don't expect to change that partner. Well, that's what the Republicans are finding out now. And some of those that are coming out saying, no, I can't do this. But see, when God works on the heart, and it happens in everybody, when he works on their heart,
Sometimes I think I'd be asking what kind of tools he working with, because we have been catching hell since we got off the boat. But you've got black folk that's still catching hell. The key here is for
Well,
me.
we all are. I mean,
we always have been, and we always will. Because
no, I disagree with that.
Well, okay.
No, I'm not claiming that. I'm sorry.
Let me make my point. We have always had it tough since we got off the boat. Okay, and what we need to recognize is the hypocrisy. 2 weeks ago, he was on Calvin Kaepernick. You disrespect the flag and disrespect the truth. But what did you just do? And at what point do we recognize our survival is on our awareness of these people? Nothing angers me more than to see those guys, those proponents for Trump, talking about how many Hispanics and how many black folk voted for him. So I'm saying, get them, Donna. You just
Well,
get 'em.
I think that our survivors not only knowledge but unity. That's where
Lord,
unity.
Ain't nobody
Y'all the
you.
most victimized people. I'm so tired of being a victim. Check this
Yeah,
out.
me too,
The NPR
man.
right now posted a site where they said 55% of white folks said they are discriminated against their own race. They feel like they're discriminated. Who are these folks? These folks think they are on the same level as black people. They are some misguided white people.
No, they ain't. This some folk that's worse off than us.
You mean as far as white people?
Yeah.
No, that's economically. I'm saying they think they are discriminated against.
They are.
That's not on an economic level that you're talking
They
about.
don't realize, but you go up
And
in
also-
hills and hollers. They used to have them coal mining jobs, and look at how they living up there.
I know, but
Where are they getting that from, Eric? How do
I
they
don't
feel?
know.
How do they feel that?
The
Because the
NPR
3 officers, we had 4 sergeants that were killed. None of them were left behind. So how do they feel that?
They said
None of them
NPR
being shot,
Right.
dealing with police brutality.
That's a good point, because NPR
So
said
how do they feel that?
these white people can't even cite one specific incident where they're discriminated against. It's just it's the imagination. They always want to take the. Like
I don't know any of the white folks like that. I mean, they even the ones that
They do feel
that
that.
on
the
a,
ones
on
for Trump.
a,
The ones who voted for Trump said
they
they.
feel
well,
feel
they still
the
feel
pain.
white supremacy though. So how do they feel they're on the level with us? I'm not following you.
Well, that's 55% of NPR.
That report, I'm not following that.
Well, in any statistical report, you always have to realize it's always going to be just a sample. and you wonder where that sample is pulled from, so you have to look at the geographics of it. It's a lot of things.
And how they are raised and how they are taught.
Van Jones said it's been a
That's a good point.
white lash towards when Obama got elected, and the Hispanics coming in, they got the Mexicans taking their jobs, the Asians making their products. White folks are scared now.
They ought to be.
They're scared. The whole world, they got a white Santa Claus, a white Jesus. The world, they up in arms now.
Well, let's get back to
You
what
mean-
we were talking about, LaDavid Johnson, and how what Trump said, but then you had Chief of Staff Kelly to double down on that. Let's take a listen.
Typically, they all accept the call. So he called 4 people the other day and expressed his condolences in the best way that he could. And he said to me, "What do I say?" I said to him, "Sir, there's nothing you can do to lighten the burden on these families. But let me tell you what I tell them. And let me tell you what my best friend, Joe Dunford, told me, because he was my casualty officer. He said, Kel, he was doing exactly what he wanted to do when he was killed. He knew what he was getting into by joining that 1%. He knew what the possibilities were because we're at war. And when he died, in the 4 cases we're talking about, Niger, my son's case in Afghanistan, when he died, he was surrounded by the best men on this earth, his friends. That's what the president tried to say to 4 families the other day. I was stunned when I came to work yesterday morning and brokenhearted at what I saw a member of Congress doing. A member of Congress who listened in on a phone call from the President of the United States to a young wife, and in his way tried to express that opinion. He's a brave man, a fallen hero. He knew what he was getting himself into because he enlisted. There's no reason to enlist. He enlisted. And he was where he wanted to be, exactly where he wanted to be, with exactly the people he wanted to be with when his life was taken. That was the message. That was the message that was transmitted. It stuns me that a member of Congress would have listened in on that conversation. Absolutely stuns me. And I thought at least that was sacred.
What bothers me is how they changed the narrative of things. That's the part that bothers me. Yes, it angers me, but I can't let my anger get the best of me and focus on the things, how they changed the narrative of things. And I think that Chief of Staff General Kelly, had someone called him and said to him that his son knew what he was getting into, that he would not have been given that speech that he just gave. I just refuse to believe that. And I'm really surprised and disappointed that he allowed himself to get on the same level with 45. And I just feel that we have to do something. The other thing that disturbs me, where are the Democrats in this whole thing?
Punks.
Where are the Democrats in this whole thing?
Republicans do, punks.
Well, I don't expect the Republicans to take a stance. I mean, they're going to stand with 45.
Well, it's not.
But I
it's
think
not
we
Democrat
we
or
could-
Republican.
Well,
when you get in
no.
there.
The reason I say that is because had this been President Obama in office, just like the Benghazi situation, they wrote that until it made a difference in the election. Right. So my question once again, where are the Democrats in this? And the thing is this, come the midterms, they're going to be asking for our votes. And my question is this, where were you with regards to this Niger thing? Where were you with regards to the Confederate statute? We got to stop giving our vote away, because if we continue to do that, what we're dealing with right now will continue to happen.
We'll give it to Democrats. We won't give it to Republicans.
Find some new when the primaries come up. When we have the Democratic primaries, that's where we need to elect someone else,
Well, I think
opposed to sending the same folks back in office.
Well, like you're saying, I don't think you're really saying a party as much as you're saying a person that's going to stand
Right.
for what's right. And I think really the attacks on President Obama weren't even about the party, because it was an African American man sitting in that position, and
Right.
we know that race does play a part in it.
Exactly.
Sad to say,
Hey, y'all
and
sit down
at
and
that
nice.
level.
Really?
No,
I'm praying for a heart attack.
but only I've told you before, only the firemen going to fight a fire with a fire and have some
Well, hold
success.
No, I
on.
ain't, 'cause I'm fighting the fire,
Today's
too.
praise
Me too.
break is
I'm hot right now.
Miracle Workers by Rance Allen, sponsored by the Metropolitan Day School, where Eagles soar.
Black man, yeah.
said, I ain't bumping into this one or that one. They're bumping into me. Hey, hey, hey. I tried all the doctors, he said, but they just let me know. Lord, I'm depending on you. Oh, let's see what you can do. Jesus spit down on the ground. Yeah, yeah. Made a little ball of clay. Yeah, yeah. Said, I anoint you in the name of my Father. I guarantee you make this blindness go away. He said, hey, blind man. Tell me, what do you see? Hey, hey. He said, I see some men hanging around, but they look just like trees. Yes, he does. He said, go wash your eyes, hey, in the pool of Siloam. Hey, hey, and I guarantee you'll see men look just like me. Hey, hey, hey.
It's an especially stressful time for parents of children with behavioral challenges. Call the Metropolitan Day School. Don't go through another year of failing grades, phone calls from the principal, and frequent suspensions. Call the Metropolitan Day School today. Licensed and accredited. Grades K through 12. 804-321-2595. Financial assistance available. Start the school year off right at the Metropolitan Day School where eagles soar. Call Miss Thomas today at 804-321-2595.
I am not looking forward to a repeat of last school year with calls from the principal about Derek skipping and failing classes, starting fights, and getting into trouble.
Girl, we went through the same thing with Kevin.
But he's at UVA.
And on the dean's list. But only because we called AES Innovative Counseling Service. They work a miracle. And their number is easy to remember. 321-2777, which rhymes with heaven.
I'll call them now before the problem starts again.
AES, opening doors to a brighter future. Tried about everything? They get the picture. Call AES Innovative Counseling Services in the home, school, and community. That's AES, 321-2777.
If you're suffering from hearing loss, stay tuned for a special offer from the makers of Listen Clear, a revolutionary hearing aid breakthrough designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. Right now, you can try Listen Clear hearing aids absolutely free for 45 days. You can also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear hearing aids are so lightweight and comfortable, you can wear them all day long. They're practically invisible too, so others won't even notice you're wearing them. And the best part is, you'll be able to hear almost everything, everywhere. So do something about your hearing loss. Call Listen Clear now to get started with your 45-day risk-free hearing aid trial. This special offer won't be available for long, so call Listen Clear now.
800-339-0930. 800-339-0930. 800-339-0930. We're here 24 hours a day to help. That's 800-339-0930.
Mark, what? I don't make a boy jump in little stick, Danny. That's where he started. Man, I used to blow a can. Yo, wish I had me a comb and some paper. I'd play some music now. Yeah. What it is and what it is. What it? Mind power. Mind power. Mind power. Mind power. Mind power. What? Mind power. Come on down. Fill it up down.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
We're going to move on now to our exclusive interview with Maisha Johnson, the widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, one of 4 Special Forces troops killed in that deadly ambush in Niger. He was laid to rest over the weekend after a final kiss from Maisha, and I sat down with her earlier this morning just before we came on the air. And we are joined now by the widow of Sergeant Johnson, Maisha Johnson. Maisha, thank you for coming in this morning. I hope you're feeling the prayers and thoughts of all of us.
Yes.
You know, it was so clear watching the funeral how loved and respected LaDavid was by his family, his friends, his community, his fellow soldiers. What do you want people to know about him?
Well, I want the world to know how great of a soldier my husband was and a loving and caring father and husband he was to our family.
You knew him since you were 6, huh?
Yes, sir.
And I also know you have a lot of questions about what happened.
Yes.
In Niger.
Yes.
What's at the top of your mind?
The questions that I have that I need answered is I want to know why it took them 48 hours to find my husband. Why couldn't I see my husband? Every time I asked to see my husband, they wouldn't let me.
What did they tell you?
They'll tell me that he's in a severe rap, like I won't be able to see him. I need to see him so I will know that that is my husband. I don't know nothing. They won't show me a finger, a hand. I know my husband's body from head to toe. And they won't let me see anything. I don't know what's in that box. It could be empty for all I know. But I need to see my husband. I haven't seen him since he came home.
And what have they told you about what happened in Africa?
I really don't know the answers to that one, neither, because when they came to my house, they just told me that it was a massive gunfire and my husband, as of October 4th, was missing. They didn't know his whereabouts. They didn't know where he was or where to find him. And a couple of days later is when they told me that he went from missing to killed in action. I don't know how he got killed, where he got killed, or anything. I don't know that part. They never told me, and that's what I've been trying to find out since day one, since October 4th.
Are you confident you're going to get the answers you need?
If I keep pushing for him, I will.
And they just say they don't know?
They won't tell me. They won't tell me anything. I don't know anything.
There are also a lot of questions about the phone call you received from President Trump. I know you were in a car to the airport. Mm-hmm. Tell us what happened next.
Me and my family was in the limo to receive my husband from, I think that was Dover we went to?
Dover.
And we was literally on the airport strip getting ready to get out. And he called Master Sergeant Neil's phone. I asked Master Sergeant Neil to put his phone on speaker so my aunt and uncle could hear as well. And he goes on to saying his statement as what he said was...
The president.
Yes, the president said that he knew what he signed up for, but it hurts anyways. And it made me cry because I was very angry at the tone of his voice and how he said it. Like he couldn't remember my husband's name. The only way he remembered my husband's name because he told me he had my husband report in front of him. And that's when he actually said LaDavid. I heard him stumbling on trying to remember my husband's name. And that what hurt me the most, because if my husband is out here fighting for our country and he risks his life for our country, why can't you remember his name? And that would make me upset and cry even more, because my husband was an awesome soldier. He did what it take people, other soldiers, like 5 years to do in 3 years. So imagine if my husband was here now. It took my husband 3 years to make E5. It take other soldiers 5 to 6 years just to make an E5. So if he was here now, he would have been on his way to being an E6 or an E7. My husband had high hopes in the military career.
What did you say to the president?
I didn't say anything. I just listened.
But you were upset when you got off the phone.
Oh, very, very upset and hurt. Very. It made me cry even worse.
Congresswoman Wilson reported that, and you explained she was in the car with you.
Yes.
She's been close to your family for a long time.
Yes. Yes. Miss Wilson, my uncle-in-law was Miss Wilson's elementary school principal. And my husband was in her 5,000 role model program. That's why she's well connected with us, because she been in our family since we were little kids.
The president said that the Congresswoman was lying about the phone call.
Whatever Miss Wilson said was not fabricated. What she said was 100% correct. It was Master Sergeant Neal, me, my aunt, my uncle, and the driver, and Miss Wilson in the car. The phone was on speakerphone. Why would we fabricate something like that?
Is there anything you'd like to say to the president now?
No. I don't have nothing to say to him.
Your little girl's going to be born in January.
Yes, January 29th.
What are you going to tell her about her dad?
I'm going to tell her how awesome her dad was, and how a great father he was, and how he died as a hero.
Words she's going to love to hear. Maisha, thank you for sharing your story this morning.
Thank you.
You did die a hero.
Oh, and so powerful. And to have to go through all of this while she's grieving her husband is truly unthinkable. But she's a powerful woman.
And you saw her beam when she talked about him.
Yep, that's true.
That was the interview with George Stephanopoulos from ABC with LaDavid Johnson's widow. And I'm with you, Maurice. That was difficult to watch. Again, I watched it earlier, and I thought it was a very difficult interview. LG?
Yeah, well, I've heard it a couple of times myself, and it's not only very difficult, but if you look past that, you see a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
You just see a whole lot, and it just haven't begun. As I stated earlier, it's been going on for quite a while, and we're all getting kind of fed up with it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm at my limit.
Prayers up.
Say what?
Prayers up.
We can fed up with it.
I just showed you a picture of my two grandsons.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is in Puerto Rico right now.
Okay.
And he's got a daughter on the way. He just got married. I've got one just back from Korea. On any given day, that could be my daughter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
On
You're
any given
right.
day.
You're right.
And again, I've served. My wife served. My daughter served. My son served. My grandsons are currently serving. And this draft dodger hasn't served anything. I don't look to him to have any empathy or sympathy for my family. They are there to do and to serve. And I still think that you trying to get blood from a turnip, it's not in him. It's just not
This
in
is
him.
very true, and I agree with you 100%, but we can't just sit back and do absolutely
It's
nothing,
nothing-
especially when
nothing
you
you
got
can do.
grandchildren
What
serving.
you gonna do?
So you're just going to sit back and do absolutely nothing?
Like what?
Pray.
Well, I just said, contact our congressman and our congresswoman, and
You
I
just
think
call that woman an empty
I'm not talking about what he called her. Like I said before the break, where are the Democrats?
Okay.
So
We need to remove them from office. If I have not heard from, we got Democrat Mark Warner, Tim Kaine, what's the other one? Bobby Scott. I haven't heard anything. Have you all heard anything from them?
Well, Tim Kaine is on the committee that's come saying this guy just can't start no war. We need to bring that back in and ring that in. He's been saying that and saying it and saying it. Where's the rest of the Congress?
What we all do a lot of talking.
Right.
No action. We all do a lot of talking. There's some kind of way we need to get together and form something with the rest of the entities that's out there fighting. You know, I look at Roland Martin every morning, and he's very good at what he's doing, trying to generate the thoughts for thought with black folks, how we can move forward.
Right.
And he has the platform that he's talking to others from different states every day, congressmen, whoever he's connected.
Well, what you just said is key. We need to talk to our congressman. I don't know about you all, but I'm writing a letter. What?
Check this out. Tea Party, for example.
Okay.
What did they do?
They
formed.
Exactly.
Remember old shows? I said I love the Tea Party and the NRA. Yeah. Hey, look, if you don't vote my views, I'm gonna vote you out.
What
we
I
can
said,
have the same thing.
That's what I just said. Let me go to the phones right quick. Scotty, how are you, friend?
I'm doing as best I can. How are you all doing?
We're holding on.
Hello, Scotty.
Doing good.
That was very troubling to hear, and for different reasons for me. She mentioned that her husband had become an E5 in just 3 years. Well, that's because of the MOS he took. He's in special forces. When you take those type of MOSs, they put you on a fast track to getting promoted. Right. That's how they get you, to take those more dangerous positions. So that's why he got promoted so fast, because he was a Green Beret. Now, here, no disrespect to that young lady, but she sounded very indoctrinated. Okay. Tell me how in Niger they were doing anything that was benefiting us here in America. Okay. This is just a continuation of George Bush's war on terror, which is a war on a tactic. Okay. And you got China that's all over Africa right now, but they're not in there with military forces. They're in there doing business. That's how they choose to go into Africa. The way that the United States is choosing to go into Africa to get access to its resources is through the back door of war on terror. Okay. If they were and I'm speaking of the United States, if they were so concerned about fighting terrorists in Africa, then why did they kill their number one partner in Africa against these Islamic jihadists, which was Muammar Gaddafi in Libya? Why did the CIA and the State Department aid terrorists to take over that country, Libya, to the point that now they saying it's just one big terrorist training ground right now?
Wow.
And they practicing slavery against Africans, according to the UN. All those African migrants trying to make it to Europe, Gaddafi was giving them jobs. Now with the current people that's in charge, they're putting them into slavery. Okay. I mean, this is UN report. So we use these words as like hero. We just overuse those words.
Right.
He's a casualty of war. I regret that he died for a nation that's still practicing slavery and racism like it's practicing. And we had to be honest with our young children, and we had to with our young people, and stop propagating propaganda that's only trying to get them to be in the military to go fight for corporations and their wealth.
I agree.
Because nothing that they have done has benefited us whatsoever. You want to talk about a war on terror? What about that terrorism that just happened in Charlottesville, Virginia? What about that act of terrorism down there in Florida where you had some Nazis shoot at people?
Right.
And they not even being charged with terrorism.
Right. You're absolutely
So we got
Scott,
a lot of stuff
Scotty, do me a favor.
going on
Can you
here at
can you
home.
hang on for a minute because we got to go to break? Scotty, can you hold on because we got to go to break, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with a home. sun has brought us in the rising sun of this day. Jesus, let us march on, till victory is won.
Tune into Just Jazz on Saturday nights from 9 until 11 p.m. right here on Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network. Join me, Ty Bailey, as I showcase the best in jazz, current releases, reissues, and selections from past great recordings. It's all right here on Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network at TanyaFree.com. Just Jazz is also streamed 24 hours a day at TyBailey.com.
This is Tanya Free. TanyaFree.com is your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, breaking news, commentary, podcasts, music, and more. Stay in the know. Visit TanyaFree.com today.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Scott, let me ask a question with regards to LaDavid Johnson. They said they found his body 48 hours later, and I understand there was a private contract, is what I've been reading, that actually, recover the body.
Evacuated the people.
Right. And I'm trying to understand, what are we doing with private contracts? Why is there a private contract?
Because war is profitable. War is a racket.
Yeah.
And this is why the United States in this particular administration, not just to single out this one, but it's been everyone before it. We spend more money on the war machine than we do on taking care of our people here at home. So that's just continuation of the privatization of the military.
Wow.
In these different services. It's no different than Iraq with these services, or I forgot what it used to be called. Those private contractors who gunned down all those innocent people in that square in Iraq.
And not held accountable?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
And not held accountable?
And not held accountable. And so I don't mean any disrespect to the memory of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a veteran myself. Fortunately, when I was in the Gulf War over there in Saudi Arabia, seeing how them women was mistreated and recognizing the fact I ain't over here for no freedom and no liberty or I'm over here because of the oil. That's why I'm here. They didn't want Saddam Hussein to get control of that part of that oil. All right, it didn't have nothing to do with freedom and liberty, and we just had to be honest about these things and stop using cliches and buying into the propaganda. I feel sorry for that young woman and her children, that their father died for a country that practices injustice. And I'm glad Trump said what he said, because Trump ain't the only. These people really don't care about us. When people tell you, "Oh, I thank you for your service," I was like, "For what? For what?" Look at all these people being gunned down by these cops in this country.
Right.
There's war going on right here.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I guess I'm more disturbed for the mere fact that when you serve in this country and you still, not receiving any justice. The truth of the matter. Let me ask this question: why is it? Is there a military rule that when your body is recovered that the family cannot, view it, or was it just this situation?
No, there's no rule, and I read that they are going to allow her to view the body.
Well, they've already had the service. They've already had the funeral.
Service, but
I thought they had it Saturday.
They didn't put
Dig
him
it
in
up.
the ground.
Oh, they had to put them in the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they are going to allow her to...
Like I had said, that's for her Congress. If they told her that, her congressperson can make that happen if she wants to view that body.
Okay.
And perhaps his body is so disfigured, I wouldn't want to see my spouse's body like that, but that's her right. If that's what she needs for closure, nobody should be stopping her from that.
Right.
But let me just end with this. Just recognize the fact that there are close to 1 million veterans in prison right now. And the vast majority of them are in there for nonviolent drug crimes, trying to treat their PTSD.
Wow.
Bro, Scotty.
Wow.
Bro, Scotty. Still there?
Scotty?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah. So just was agreeing with what you're saying. The war, many times our nation has used the excuse that it was human injustices or human right violations, in other nations to go in, and all the time they're going on right here. So I was just adding that along with what you were saying, that, we know that's what it was all about. And I'll never forget that Daddy Bush started the war to get the heat off his sons for the savings and loans.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And Scotty, you also bring up a good point.
Allow them to get us to buy into identity. We know.
Can y'all hear? Scotty still there?
That Metro PCS phone.
Okay, Scotty, sorry.
I'm not going to be distracted by that. I wouldn't expect nothing less from him. But I just don't want people to then use this man's death as justification for us to rain down death and destruction on black people in Africa.
Right. Well, Scotty, you bring up a good point that we need to focus in on, and that is that I went into the Marine Corps, and I knew that they had made me a killer. I knew it on command because I had jumped one of my comrades. My point is, I was able to get a hold of myself and come on out here. But nobody deprograms you when you turn you back loose on the street. And you still have those feelings that you're fighting. And we have to see, while we are getting locked up because we are self-medicating, just like Scotty said, and we're not looking at that. We're not looking at the way that we are being mistreated and turned back out with no resources to treat ourselves. Right. We're locking each other up. And the criminal justice system is complicit in making this happen.
Well, that's another privatization of business as well.
And of jail systems.
Right.
Part of slavery.
System. Right.
And Brother Eric said it earlier that, it's been going on and you're tired of it, and we all are. We just have to encourage one another, and especially others, not to buy into hatred, because it doesn't do any good.
It's more.
We got to come up with a plan. We got to
come
up with some sort of.
We need to focus in on. We need to change the criminal justice system where people
How
get treated.
do we do that, Bill?
People
want more than just that.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that's just a part of the big.
More than that, we got to change why people get into the system of doing drugs.
Well, just like you said.
If I go back to what LG said, we have to deal with us, because nobody's going to deal with us in a manner to help us.
We are too American. That's the problem.
No, people like Scotty who can speak out and focus in on what the problem is, and those who want to take up that banner, take it up. All of us can't fight.
And one last thing, and I'll let you all go. and again, this is not personal towards any of these people, but when I saw a clip of a CNN clip of Representative Frederica Wilson holding up a sign, "Bring back our girls," I'm saying to myself, you got all of those, let them Africans handle their own business. And I'm wondering if she has fought for any resources to bring our American girls back. Because look at how many missing children and even adults, especially black people, who end up missing in this country, never to be heard from again. What about those missing and bringing them back?
Yeah, but I get that, Scotty. But she still had that program for black men. She's doing some stuff also. So I don't blame. I understand the criticism, but she's still doing a good share also. So I get your point, though.
Scotty,
well, thank you all for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Scotty.
Tell about this your show, Scotty.
Tune in to New Abolitionist Radio, where we'll talk about things like almost 1 million U.S. veterans being locked up in prison slavery for nonviolent victimless crimes. So that's tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. on Black Talk Radio Network. You all have a great day.
You too, Scotty. Thank you. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Scotty.
that.
Take care.
I'll go back to something you said, Eric. What do you mean we are too American?
Well, the problem, I think, as African Americans, well, black people, every nationality in this country have something to go back to. Polish Americans, Italian Americans, they have a culture and a history. Our history is American, and we can't figure out how to disengage or to engage to figure out our issues. We're too close to the American issue. Situation. Other folks have it's almost like travel. There's something to go back to. Think about food.
Your heritage, you mean? Something.
Yeah, we don't soul food. It ain't ours. That's still Southern white people stuff. Only thing we have is entertainment, like music, tap dance, but it still was borrowed from other cultures.
No, we still have the African and Southern American and the Geechee culture. We have that.
But you guys, check this out. The Geechee and the Gullah, you got so many people who have that culture, don't even go back and spur that culture. They leave and go elsewhere. It was a study done there 4 years ago.
Well,
they don't even support the Gullah and the Geechee.
That does not mean that we don't have it. Because
we are from
here.
Forefront.
We are from here,
exactly.
And we are westernized. I think that's what you're trying to say.
American, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We don't have anywhere to go back to. It's like some idiot telling us, why don't you go back to Africa? I ain't from no damn Africa. What you talking about?
That's right.
I'm from here.
But I think we do not share our history with our young people, so they have something to carry with them or understand where they've come from. Something to feel proud about, that as our ancestors have moved forward and where we've accomplished thus far. I just think that it's just we're too casual. It's too casual.
We've been broken off. Our race, blacks, have been broken off into a lot of groups. You got down in New Orleans. I'm just saying, New Orleans. You got over in Europe. They come out of Africa. A lot of those people come out of Africa. So we go a long ways. When you talk about we don't have a heritage, it's a lot of heritages out there.
Right, but
we've been listening to what they tell us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Just to take a little bit of issue with that, everybody's from somewhere else. Even in Europe, a lot of their culture and the things they think they are, and a lot of the education they come from, they had to learn it too. Right. They learned it from Africa. And we came in, and from those of us who integrated and those who married into us and those who were part of us, we adapted that. But you can't bring people out of Africa, stop them off, take their children away from them, take their language away from them, then come over here and make them slaves.
Yep, Jim
Crow.
We
had to cling to religion. We had to talk to and take on the Western culture. That's what we did.
Yeah, we confused.
No,
We're straight up confused.
I'm not saying confused.
No,
I just think we had because they did the same thing.
Look now. We're on the panel. We're still discussing the same thing they were talking about since Marcus Garvey. Same thing.
Not all of us.
Huh?
Not all of us. There are some of us, and we are blessed to have risen above a lot.
Right.
But still, you still can drive down the street as a multimillionaire and still get knocked in the head. What's the difference?
Yeah, you're right about that.
We still haven't come. We still backpedaling. We still doing the same thing on a stationary bicycle.
No.
I take issue with you,
All right.
Eric, because I just feel like you've just given up. That's the
No.
part that
No, it's
troubles me. I
reality.
feel like
It's
you've
reality
just given
thing.
up and there's no hope and there's nothing we can do.
We still
that
talk
just
about the
that just
same
troubles
things,
me.
Tanya.
It
It's
just
just-
and I just feel to believe that. Let me read this comment right quick before we get too far. Lewis wonders how 45 spoke to the other families. That's a good question. Why I haven't heard any report as to what he said to them, and why is it LaDavid Johnson, this particular phone call seemed to be singled out, along with the fact that he was found 48 hours. I mean, it just seemed
Well, you got to think when the government is the most disturbing news is what's unknown to us, and we understand that some has to be that way, but then a lot is made that way. But going back to your point, and what Tanya was just sharing with us, we cannot have faith in man. We have to, as a people of faith. Bill, you said that's what brought our people out of slavery.
Right.
It wasn't bare bootstraps. It was a blessing of God. I mean, we look at the Israelites and
perseverance.
And
Perseverance.
When you
Who's
cross,
God?
Thank you.
Who is God?
Perseverance.
Who's God?
Who's God?
You know,
God is
8
Buddha.
billion people on the planet. Jesus and God, the way we serve him, is not the only one.
Well, it just depends on your faith.
Before, there's religion.
Blacks was always
what Mari's just said, our people had faith and they worked at the same time and used what God had given them, the talent. And Harriet talked about how did that earth that she was able to escape and
perseverance and confidence. That's what she had.
I'll just say this: there is scripture that will support there is one
You're
God.
absolutely right.
But
what I'm saying
and I'm not trying to.
Scripture can support a lot of things.
Scriptures that predate Christianity, and you don't disrespect the end of it. Chinese had a culture.
Okay, we're talking about our culture.
Our culture is white people culture.
My point is, we can't just rely on no one thing. It's 8 billion of us here on the planet.
We are white knives.
Ain't no wrong with that.
That's a made up word, y'all.
You all
My
just
point,
take
back
it.
to you. I heard on CNN the other day
light skin.
that Trump, he did give somebody $25,000.
Right, and that didn't happen. Yeah, you're right.
Until
you're right.
they
You're right.
exposed him.
Yeah,
Right, they were supposed to get the widow. Was it the widow?
The widow.
He was supposed to give LaDavid Johnson's widow $25,000.
Not her.
What was it?
Somebody else.
Somebody else. Oh, okay. I thought
he
it was
didn't
her.
do it.
Right, he didn't do it. Right.
Until
Okay, I
they
thought it was
exposed
her.
No,
No, it
he
wasn't
sent
her.
the check though. He sent the check.
Okay,
So there are
Later.
two.
That
He sent the check later.
Yeah.
So there are
It's
two.
in the mail.
he did send a check. I didn't
Later.
Yeah.
He did. Oh, I thought he did
After
not.
he got exposed, he sent the
Oh,
check.
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
thought he did.
So there are two
He
things.
fed extra check.
That's just like with his foundation. Remember, you were saying his foundation would do all that, but never did it. But there's two things that happen. There, going back to the young kids. I know this is not in Virginia, but this is another state where there was a young kid that was dressed for Halloween in the Klan thing. So I'm just saying all of this, these attitudes that's going on, the mentality that's flowing down because of what's at the top. So I'm just saying,
Y'all keep praying then.
I do, and whenever we'll stop.
And don't you
I'm with you, Mari.
And even at the last
heart
breath.
attack.
Okay. Well, we got to
Even
take
at
a
the
break.
last
We got to
breath.
go to Black Talk Commentary. Our friend Scotty Reed. Take a listen.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Whoa, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over
Have you ever wondered what you would have done during the period of slavery in the United States prior to the Civil War? Would you have been an active participant in the abolitionist movement of that time? Maybe you would have been a defender of the institution of slavery. Maybe you would have been silent on the issue and by that silence conveyed an unspoken consent to slavery until it affected you personally. According to the exception clause of the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that allows the continuation of slavery through the prisons, you don't have to wonder what you would do during a period of legalized slavery. Journalist Matthew T. Mangino, in a piece titled Prison Labor, A Legacy of Involuntary Servitude, writes, Bureau of Prisons operates the Federal Prison Industries Program that pays inmates 90 cents an hour to produce everything from mattresses and spectacles to road signs for government agencies, earning the government about $500 million in sales in 2016, according to The Economist. Overall, some estimate that prison labor generates about $2 billion of revenue annually for federal, state, and local governments and private businesses. Prison slavery is a continuation of America's original sin for which it refuses to repent. And while claiming to be one nation under God, it is apparent that the God America worships the most is the God of money. Because like the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil, and nothing embodies that more than the nation with the world's largest prison slave labor force that has hundreds of graven images in the form of monuments to those who unashamedly put slavery above humanity. Confederate monuments and the continuation of slavery are evidence that the South did not lose the war, but given a new form of slavery to practice for an end of hostilities between wealthy and powerful white men in America. As Max Parthas, a new abolitionist, says, slavery is a reason for a new revolution so we can finally know peace. This has been Scotty Reed with a Black Talk Radio commentary. For more commentary, visit us online at blacktalkradionetwork.com.
Are you searching for the best in online black radio? Then go to blacktalkradionetwork.com, helping you filter through the noise. Real talk, black talk.
Have you checked out Tanya Free TV on Ustream? Watch our radio broadcast live and catch up on past video podcasts. Download the app or go to ustream.tv to follow Tanya Free and Friends. Stay in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or text the word Tanya to 63975. Join the conversation. Tanya Free and Friends. On air, online, on point. Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Let me read this comment before we go to Mr. Khan. Jim says he loves this conversation. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. No one else is talking truth in the media. Thank you, Jim. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. 804-321-1010 or 844-321-1010. I'm sorry. Because it's just so much going on in the media. Like I said earlier, hard to keep up with what's going on, but we have got to stay on top of it. And we were talking just now, what you just said, LG, about reality TV and how we got to get away from reality. Yeah, be more productive and engage in stuff with substance. Because we're missing so much. I mean, we're missing it all, honestly. That's how I feel about it.
I agree with that.
And struggle breaks people down to have change heart.
No question.
And Eric, like you were saying earlier, we feel like we've been fighting so long, but the progress may seem minimal, but we have come somewhere, but got much further to go. I agree 100%.
But we're going to always have further to go.
Exactly. And we're going to always have struggle.
Always going to have something to do.
You got folks that are trying to take us back. That's the thing.
Can't nobody take you back.
If we don't do anything and it's up to the plate and punch back, yes, they can.
No, they can't.
A couple years ago,
when they started undoing stuff in the Constitution,
we're seeing that.
Yeah, we're seeing that exactly. Or take your right to vote. Yeah, they can do all of it.
No,
okay, all right.
So now from what they tried in Carolina to say that the students couldn't vote because that wasn't their place of residence. All these little things that go on, and these are just the things we hear about. So to some extent, we have to be vigilant. We got to be circumspect.
But they're trying to take. Let's deal with something real simple. The ACA, folks that couldn't get health coverage or didn't have health coverage may be losing their health coverage.
They should.
True? Do you say what?
They should.
Why?
Should went out and vote. Let that fool get in office. And, he should take everything from him.
That affects all of us, Eric.
Yeah, but sometimes you get a hard lesson in life.
Okay. So once you get through that hard lesson, then what?
Then he gets smarter.
That's where you need to make sure the Warren and Kane are voting and holding the line against that, and that's what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But again, you don't even know what the bill is. Yeah. We don't know what's in it.
Well, I will say this. I do have something here where we have to pay attention to. But let me do this before we get ahead of ourselves. Let me go to something that, remember the gentleman that spoke at the Democratic convention, Mr. Khan, yes, that lost his son that was slain in the Iraq War. Mr. Khan him and his wife had a very powerful message during the 2016 Democratic National Convention denouncing 45. And he said something on in an interview on CBS. Take a listen to this.
We welcome Kizar Khan to Studio 57. Welcome, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
When you saw all of this attention to the president's call, what did you think?
I was disheartened. I was shocked. Two words came to mind. I wish somebody would advise him. Dignity, most dignity for these families, for my 4 brave sons that were protecting the United States under most difficult circumstances. Privacy and dignity, restraint. He was not advised of those sentiments, of those words. Who is saying what is being said? This is from the President of the United States. Most accurate words, most accurate sentences should be uttered depending how those are received, not how those are said. And that was not done.
Should the president call, or should they simply send a letter because you can't call everybody, or they don't call everybody?
That is a very personal decision that ought to be left to the leader of this country. What he decides, that is his prerogative. But utmost respect, dignity, and privacy be granted to these most respectful families, the bravest families of this nation. We are the beneficiaries of the values of this country.
Your son believed in the goodness of this country. We have to say something about your son. It was his day off that day, Mr. Khan, when he was killed. And you tell a very compelling story about how a car drove in and he goes out with his hands up, the universal sign of surrender. But in 10 steps, he lost his life. And you're still thinking, what did he see in those 10 steps?
Gail, that speaks to the goodness of this country. He was made in here. We brought him 2 years old. He was raised here.
he learned everything from him.
I tell you, Mr. Khan, I just like seeing him because he speak complete truth. I mean, he just keep it real simple, common sense. And my thing is this: why can't we get the same thing from our politicians?
So
Common
they
sense.
get from most of, but not from Trump. It's not in him.
But I'm talking about Democrats and Republicans.
So the Republican that was speaking this morning, that's leaving office and just saying he's just fed up with
Yes,
it.
he was
Spoke these things.
Okay.
He's saying I cannot be part of something where someone sits in this office that does not uphold the standard.
You're a punk too.
The standard that and I'm saying this, we should be careful about people, judging people's character, but just look at what's in the heart. Look at even in the evil ones, we can't judge anyone because we're not fit to judge. That's not saying we should go along with it, but we have to be careful what we speak out of our mouth.
That's true.
Especially
it's not.
Well,
in.
let me say this. Go ahead.
This last point. All I'm saying is that this is just saying that he is Republican. He's saying, I can't be a part of this, and someone is at this office serving in the worst level than anyone. I understand what you're saying about this guy is no different than what he said he would be, but that doesn't excuse what the nation allows.
Where was he when his poll numbers were high? He's at 16% now.
I am tired of talking about
Arizona.
45, where he was. And I'm saying what we're going to do right now. That's the bottom line. Go ahead, LG.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking.
It took this guy quite a while to do what he just said.
There you go, LG.
Flake. It took him a while.
Yeah, it did. Right.
He on his way out. So now he's speaking up.
And what bugs me is we don't even have to vote no more.
Let me finish. Let me finish with this. The only true brave guy I've seen from the Republican is John McCain.
Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
He's speaking up no matter how much they challenge him, no matter how much this guy try to challenge him.
And he was speaking more so from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Right, during the campaign trail. During the campaign trail.
He created the health bill not passing. John McCain.
Right. He still.
And then he had other people.
One vote out of 100.
Then he had other people to step up.
Yeah, but at least he's standing strong. Let me say one thing
I bet
about
he voted Trump.
Mr. Khan's interview. Did you all notice the difference between the way he was interviewed and the way Ms. Johnson was interviewed? I mean, my thing was I was a little disturbed that they call Ms. Johnson by her first name, opposed to when you heard the interview by the one, Mr. Khan, it was a totally different tone altogether. And my point for saying that, we got to learn to allow folks to not disrespect us, period. Plain and simple.
Well, the same thing they call Obama all through his administration. Obama. Well, no president.
But you know what? That's a strong name, though. Obama. That's
But
strong.
let me go. I'm not even going to talk to the two of y'all.
That's a strong
name. Let me go to the phones right quick. Mike from North Carolina. Hi, friend. How are you? I can't hear.
All right. How about yourself?
We're good, thank you.
I just wanted to say, man, I listened to your conversation. I appreciate y'all giving us something to chew on during the day, because a lot of this stuff get monotonous watching this media this national media or national propaganda. But anyway, I just want to let y'all know you're dealing with people that pray too. You think these racists and bigots don't pray to God and He don't answer their prayers? just look at it from that point.
I think, and I don't think He answers prayers that are evil.
Hold up. But I'm going to let you know. You know what I'm saying? God is the God to everybody.
True.
I'm
I
sorry.
agree with that.
But so if they praying for this stuff and it's coming to fruition, what does that say about who you praying to?
Well, I wouldn't attribute.
Hold up. Okay.
No, I just want.
That's just something for you to pine on.
Right.
I mean, y'all got a lot to talk about. Let me finish my point.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll let you address.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I have no problem listening to what you got to say.
All
I was saying is, to say that is, these people are psychologically damaged.
Yes.
They're psychologically damaged humans. So when you try to reason with a psychologically damaged person, it don't work. When you try to get them to say, hey, you see how bad you treating us? They see how bad they treat. You think they don't know that they are practicing slavery nowadays? You think that they don't know that they're wronging people around the world, that exporting hate? This is what we do. We export hate and violence and murder. You think they don't realize that? They realize all of that. They know that. But see, they're psychologically damaged. Their inferiority superiority is not from any being able to run or jump. It's from their mentality, their mental ability to understand how not to do these things.
Well, let me ask you this,
some
Mike.
White folks that's been evolutionized where they don't do these things.
How do we change our situation?
How do we change the situation?
Right. What do you suggest? How do we address it?
Is stop looking to the sky for answers. God is in you. So when you go outside of yourself to find God or get His help, you wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to do it.
So
you're going to have to go out here. Just like Colin Kaepernick, well, I listened to Tom Joyner this morning. And Tom Joyner said, yeah, man, I went to the first National Baseball game or whatever it was, the World Series game. And he said they played the National. He said, I was scared to take a knee. He said, why? He said, it was too many of them out there. I said, how you think Colin Kaepernick felt?
So, Brother
Mike. How you think those brothers in the Olympics felt when they raised their fist?
Well, let me ask you this. Would you have Neil?
You're going to have to do it.
Let me ask you this.
Colin Kaepernick did it.
Would you do it?
The Olympics did it.
Would you do it?
I do it.
Okay.
See, I had a media, a guy down here in our local media, Eyewitness News, Channel 9 News, was telling me, yeah, man, I mentor and I teach these brothers how to do things the right way and this and that. I say, yeah. But if I raise one revolutionary, if my son ended up or my daughter ended up being just one of them be a revolutionary, you couldn't bring them. You couldn't walk in the room with them.
So, Brother Mike,
walk in the room with them.
Brother Mike,
the brother on there that's talking about he tired of y'all sitting back and saying, well, we need to be patient. We need to pray for him. The brother got a point. The brother got a point. The point is, we got our warriors. We got our warriors. But I'm gonna tell you where you're wrong at, brother. Where you're wrong at is we don't feed ourselves. We don't clothe ourselves. So we don't. We got half of us is strung out on all these pills for blood pressure and diabetes. So we can't go against the oppressor in that way. It's not an intelligent way to fight the fight.
I just want to ask you a question, Mike. I just want to ask you a question. And just following on your thinking when you're saying about the those who may want to be oppressors praying to God, and I understand what you're saying about the God in us, but we can't put it on God for the evil that's happening. That is in the people, because evil happens and God reigns on the just and the unjust. So I would just maybe twist that a little different and say that it's not, because think about it, they use scripture to support slavery, but that don't mean the scripture's wrong. You see what I'm saying? So
that's my point. So why do you use scripture to justify combating them?
No, I'm not using scripture to justify. I'm using scripture as my source to endure this and to stay at a higher level and to realize that there is a higher power than man. That's for me personally.
The higher power.
That's a beautiful way to be, but when you're in war, you know what I'm saying? Beauty
there you go, bro.
That's a hard thing.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. Today's Jazz Break is Slow Burn by Chuck Red, sponsored by Hong Kong Custom Tailors, 1839 West Broad, Richmond.
We shall
This is Tanya Free. Hong Kong Custom Tailors is celebrating 50 years in Richmond. Visit their brand new expanded showroom, 1839 West Broad. Custom ready-to-measure suit for less than authorized suits at other retailers. Custom monogrammed shirts, pants, sports coats, overcoats, designer shoes, headwear, women's fashions, expert alterations, and more. All first-time shoppers will get a 10% discount just by saying Tanya Free sent you. Hong Kong Custom Tailors, 1839 West Broad, 359-5441.
There are so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Go to rsgame.org, download the RS Game web client while playing your game. Press Control B and arrow down to Peachtree Radio FM. Also, dial the telephone number 641-552-5194. Download the Peachtree Radio FM app from the App Store and Google Play Store. Listen at Peachtree Radio FM on TuneIn Radio, iBlink Radio, and the new website, PeachtreeRadioFM.net. There are so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Well, some listen to remember and some listen to forget.
You know, and implement your ideas, your notions, put them in motion, like the words we funky dreads have spoken to you. So listen up loud and clear. This is a word you must be aware of. What you gonna do, put it in your life too. Now that's the meaning of the line.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Yeah, be selective, be objective.
We're going to go to our good friend Van. Hey, friend, how are you?
Oh, y'all, how are you feeling today?
We hanging in there. How about you? You doing okay?
I'm maintaining. I just want to let everybody know one thing. God answers all prayers, but sometimes the answer ain't yes. Just to let you know.
Amen. Thank you for brightening my day, Van.
Say what?
Thank you for brightening my day.
Hey, man, reality is what it is. You let it dim or brighten as you see fit, and we keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think one of the things when that happens, we have to look to see what the lesson is, what it is that God is trying to tell us. And a lot of times, we don't want to see that.
This whole, this whole ambush situation, I've got many questions about it. From some of the reporting that I've read and heard of, none of the individuals involved in this situation had any, I guess, previous combat experience or on such a mission or something like that. In other words, they were woefully lacking in experience to be involved in such a thing. The government of Chad, who was one of our major allies in the area, they have fallen out due to some stupid stuff that, yet again, the administration has done. Rachel Maddow covered this. The cliff notes of it is amongst, I guess, Iran, South Korea, and a few other countries, Chad was also listed under one of those countries who would have restrictions placed upon them if any citizen wanted to come to the United States. And that had something to do with they needed a current example of a passport, and they couldn't send it because of a shortage of the kind of paper that they use, and the State Department wouldn't accept a previously accepted example. So as a result of that, well, now you can't do this for us. So I want to say at as little as a week before this incident happened, Chad had pulled back all their military who was in there helping us, number one. Furthermore, a drone that was being reported that a drone had shown up slightly after the fact, and it was diverted or repassed, which means sent someplace else, from a mission that it was currently on. I want to know what that mission was, where it was, what did it have to do with this current thing? And again, the United States has military forces in countries that we have not declared war against and that sort of thing. That would be, I guess, in some through some legal interpretation, as being something of a war crime. So what exactly is going on here, along with the fact that, they found the brother 2 days later and so on? Trump says he gave some other person that was killed in action, his family, $25,000 and so on and so on. But let us not forget that this is a terrible incident and all. But don't forget, we still have an administration that's still under investigation for collusion with Russia. Is this but another distraction away from that to keep?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Whatever he can drum up to distract from that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And especially, I believe, with the Corker and Flake thing. I think especially the Corker. I think because I'm like, okay, this back and forth bickering, we got to rise above that. And I just think that's lots of distractions from that. Yes.
We need.
Yeah, it is. Well, if that's a distraction from it, now comes the question of who gave the order to send these people to this place with little experience, I guess, little combat experience, and to what end was that done? Because as far as I know, Chad hadn't done anything to the United States, I don't know, ever. So if it has turned out to be a distraction, was that the goal all along? Why were they in that area? What was the point of them being there?
And then they were there outnumbered. Largely outnumbered. Yeah, they were largely outnumbered.
In most covert situations like that, there is at least one drone overhead that's supposed to be keeping watch on them.
Right. There was no backup, and then I understand that they were not in what do you call the tanks? They were in. They were
not in.
Not
in what?
Right. They were not in armor.
The armored tanks.
The armored tanks.
No. They couldn't be in an armored vehicle or anything like that, because if they're functioning,
in a covert nature,
covertly, and we disavow the knowledge of your actions and all of that, then they can't be in something like that.
Okay.
But
it makes way too much noise and draws too much attention.
I heard also they didn't allow the Americans to to fly over their country also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
But I think we all need to understand. Number one, the French are over there, and it's a combined force that's being done. Now remember that Trump had his travel visa bill turned down. Chad was on the list.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on, and we got to go back to the enabling legislation that allows them to send troops in to these different places. We need to understand that. Soon as he took office, he took his hands off it and turned it over to his generals. And he is fighting, and they are fighting under the same legislation that enabled him to fight 9/11. Now we've got people asking for new controls over this guy, and he has taken his controls and handed it over to his generals and asked our boys that in places that we don't even know where they are, there's no accountability. And there's a lady, it's an assistant in Congress now, they've been saying, we need to do this, we need to take that back, we need to get it. I forget her name, little slim, I forget her name. But either way, she has been calling for them, and Tim Kaine has been calling, rein in who this boy can fight. But we are fighting, when we got rid of ISIS in, where they're fighting them in Afghanistan, Egypt, stuff like that, they're spreading into Africa. So they're going into the Africa now.
I mean, in, what was it?
Syria. And,
that was the last place.
So they've run out of there, and now they're going deeper into Africa. So we're following them in with these different, helping the Africans fight it.
Right. But like Scott has said, what is the mission? What's the real underlying
mission?
Well, that's
what it is. To get
and to get to the bottom of that may take a while,
and establish a caliphate. Right. That's what is happening.
Right.
Now, let me, Van, thank you so much.
There's a man named Mike Rupert. He wrote a book called Crossing the Rubicon. I've seen him do some lectures that were associated with 9/11. And this is back, what I'm about to tell you that I heard from him was back maybe a year or two after the events of September 11th of 01. He was like, this war on terror is going to go all across the globe. It is going to go to Africa. It is going to eventually end up in Venezuela. And a lot of this is tied to what is thought to be the end of peak oil.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Van.
Venezuela has been, now they have a whole bunch of oil. There's a bunch of oil in Africa and that kind of thing. But if what he says is correct, and also check out a book by Zbigniew Brzezinski called The Grand Chessboard, again, showing how all of these conflicts are going to end up being centered around, the most powerful and most valuable natural resource on the planet, which is oil. The war on terror is little more than just a horrifying justification in order to go to these other places and do these things in the name of. So, with that being said, the audio on my end is kind of bad. I can't really hear you all. So, I'm going to bid you farewell.
Thank you, friend. We appreciate it.
I'm going to try to listen on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.
All right, Brother Van.
Go ahead, Maurice. You had a question? Or just
I was just
I called out your name. I'm glad you didn't hear it, though.
No, but I was since I see Van all the time out in Short Pump, I was get him to bring up the issue. But Eric, I guess we'll kind of bring it in. But basically, it was a situation at Short Pump Middle School where football in Richmond, Virginia, where the football team at a middle school horsing around the locker room and basically had some couple of young African Americans. I don't know if they were in the mental challenges they are not, but portraying them as if they were sexting them. And this was on the film, and the football team's been suspended. But folks are saying it's not enough, because it's just when you see the video, it just looks terrible.
I'm saying he said the nice way. They were simulating raping black women, black people, and saying I'm a blank the African out you. Come on now. These black kids. Who raising
middle
them?
school.
Who raising these kids? Black kids.
And so tonight there's a meeting going on where they're trying to unite the community, and it's going on at that school. And whatever it's worth, just wanted to put it out there.
And where were the adults in this whole thing?
Well, they was in the locker room, so they said they were wondering why it wasn't supervised.
Right,
But
exactly.
again,
but it's so disturbing
people,
at a young age
yes.
that the kids are spewing that type of hatred.
Not only that, the passiveness of black folks laying down, letting white people do that and think it's funny. Or think, I don't get it.
See, that's why I say I don't.
So this was the black kids were going along with this. Is what you're saying?
I don't know. I want to, and I don't know.
I saw the video.
Yeah, I saw it, and I'm going to ask you a question. Were they considered to be mentally challenged?
I don't know that part.
See, I don't know.
Well, they must be if they down let them do that. So some mental problems.
I just thought they mentioned something out there, but I can't say for sure.
Okay.
But either way, like you said, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
And you're right. Anybody and the parents, It's just
I guess
the thing
would do that.
is disheartening that it happened. But like you said, that young age.
Yeah, that young age, right?
Yeah, and I don't remember what state it was with the young man that was the guys that were wearing the Klan outfit, supposed to be their Halloween costume.
Oh my goodness!
And these are young people, and they were just was a high school.
No, it's a middle school.
That was middle school as well
yes,
too.
It was middle school. Yeah.
So you think about that hate at that age,
Yeah, where are they getting it from? And my thing is this. Kids do what they see. I'm not going to say, even if you're not teaching your child hatred, but what you do, kids watch everything.
Right.
They pick up everything that you do. And if you have a parent or someone in the household conversation, in that manner, they're going to pick things like that up.
I was listening to Roland Martin yesterday, and he was stating, they had someone on the program, and he was stating, hatred comes from the great-grandfather, the grandfather, the father.
Mm-hmm. Generation, yeah.
Yeah, generation.
Right.
It just didn't start. It just haven't just started.
Right.
So the kids pick up on it.
Right, you're right.
But
from one generation to the next.
And I'm definitely not denying that or disagreeing with that, but I can remember in the 80s when I first started working in state government, early 80s, and meeting a lot of individuals of different races, all different races, but mainly
white
white. Well, them too, but Asians as well. You know, a lot different. But I can remember, you know, we formed a bond. But I can remember many of them saying, you know, I couldn't even take you home to my grandfather. And I'm saying that now, yeah, that still exists. But I think it's a whole new breed of hatred that's coming, and it's because now this floodgate has been open. It's almost like it's being presented from the White House that it's okay, just put your stuff right out there.
I don't know if it's a new breed of hatred.
No, they've been
I think it's been festering, and like you said, when President Obama got in office, that just
stirred up,
and it just took the lid off of everything.
Right.
And
They still hating from that.
It's been festering over the last 8 years, and I think that's one of the reasons why 45 is in office. They just like, okay, we will make sure. Yeah,
they still hate.
They put one of their own in place so that they can do what they're doing right now. I just think they just went all out. I think that's what it is.
Well, that was the attitude. If you took the pulse of the nation, you see that's it. Because, like you say, even people that have nothing out there where coal mines and all that, because they got a false promise, but they also found someone they could relate to, because he said, you know, I ain't gonna care about them, as you said, blanks. So I agree, and I wasn't, like I said, disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying that is some of that is it, but then you got some of these families where these kids have committed crimes, and the family have no idea that they didn't get it from them, and some of that came out through the Charlottesville thing.
Where did they get it from then?
You got social media that's just dogging somebody. Like you talk about
people.
Let me just say this.
That means your child is poorly supervised.
Well,
if you allow your child
not when they're 20 years old. Your kid but here's the other thing, Tanya.
Kids.
You talk about these reality shows. The same thing is going on social media. Some of the stuff that people spruing out through social media is just as toxic as what's going on those shows.
You're right.
And a weak mind doesn't need a whole lot of feedback.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you got any feedback?
Feedback with regards to what?
Hate feedback. Hate.
Oh no! Don't even say anything like that.
Oh no! I'm just asking.
No.
We need the ratings.
I get certain things, yes, on comments, yes, and that kind of stuff I delete. Yeah, I get that stuff. Well, let me do this. We get ready before we go to break. A lot of people been asking as to why they haven't heard us on WCLM, and you know, we have a brand new home. And we're going to make that announcement after the break. But I want to thank Mr. Preston Brown, who gave us our start. And he is a good guy, and I enjoy working with Mr. Brown and all of the folks there, Big John and Reggie and everyone. Big John will still be doing things with. But stay tuned. We got a big announcement, and we're going to make it right after the break.
Yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block for dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime, the night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break. I'll be missing you.
It's kinda hard with you not around. Know you in heaven smiling down, watching us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you, till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed, strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call
That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help.
800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. That's 800-708-3091.
This is Tanya Free, inviting you to check out the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, here coast to coast on the AM/FM 247 radio network and the AM/FM 247 television network. Join the conversation.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, Wednesdays. Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Sustained incumbency is certainly not the point of seeking office, and there are times when we must risk our careers in favor of our principles. Now is such a time. We must stop pretending that the degradation of our politics and the conduct of some in our executive branch are normal. They are not normal. Reckless, outrageous, and undignified behavior has become excused and countenanced as telling it like it is, when it is actually just reckless, outrageous, and undignified. When a leader correctly identifies real hurt and insecurity in our country and instead of addressing it goes to look for someone to blame, there is perhaps nothing more devastating to a pluralistic society. We have fooled ourselves for long enough that a pivot to governing is right around the corner. We know better than that. When the next generation asks us, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you speak up? What are we going to say? Mr. President, I rise today to say enough. I have children and grandchildren to answer to, and so, Mr. President, I will not be complicit or silent. If I have been critical, it is not because I relish criticizing the behavior of the President of the United States. If I have been critical, it is because I believe it is my obligation to do so, and as a matter and duty of conscience. I've decided that I would be better able to represent the people of Arizona and to better serve my country and my conscience by freeing myself of the political consideration that consumed far too much bandwidth and would cause me to compromise far too many principles. To that end, I am announcing today that my service in the Senate will conclude at the end of my term in early January 2019.
In the speech he gave on yesterday, and as you all know, he's no longer running for office and just now beginning to stand up to 45. Question is, and Corker is too, the question is, would they be doing this had they not announced that they were not?
Because the other 50 not doing it.
Right, and the question is, so not a big deal. Yes, they knew that. They knew that a long time ago.
He's the Kaepernick of the Senate.
No, it's not. Oh,
yes,
no, you can't. No, it's not. Absolutely not.
He's the first one to take a stand, but he will not be the
John
last.
McCain is, but John McCain is still in office. Had he been running for re-election, I would go along with you saying he is the Kaepernick, but he's not, because he's not running for office.
He's not running.
Well,
he just got elected in 2016, though.
Flake and Corker are not either.
Yeah, but McCain just got elected 2016.
So the other thing too.
Yeah, but even he's still taking a stand, whereas these two guys are not.
He's taking a stand
no,
against
it's not.
Trump.
No,
So let me just ask you this:
That's
with the birthingism stuff.
And what Adrian was saying earlier was, because the numbers have fallen, and you too as well, Eric. But my question would be: was the numbers falling because they were aligning with Trump? And so if I look at it from that standpoint. And then because you know what, we all have those.
But again,
those moments where reality sets in, and you got to make a change.
Nobody's even voted. You haven't even had a primary.
But all I'm saying is,
the polls look.
There could polls. I guess all I'm saying, there could be some genuineness to the change. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not feeling it. He could have said that way before now. Way before now.
Because he's not the only one. You watch.
And I understand what you're saying. I disagree. I'm just
you think he's a Kaepernick?
No, well, he's taking a stand.
And the Republicans? You agree with Bill?
No,
I don't agree with Bill.
No,
I
don't.
Sorry, Bill.
I don't care.
Well, it's like this. I try to
bring me back.
I think part of our learning is to try to understand others' perspectives. So before I knock it down, because we know Bill, I would really have to get a great understanding of what. No, and I know there's more to it.
I'm saying is the man is taking a stand
because
ain't the same thing.
Yeah, you can take a stand if there's no pain. There's no stand.
He punked out.
He just saying something, talking loud to me. That's all he said. He should have said this from the very beginning.
But he could have went out.
Or he should have been staying a long time when all the stuff that 45 has been doing. He's now coming to the forefront to stand, and he's not because he's not running anymore. No, I don't give him any credit.
But you got to realize 4 or 5 months ago, this guy and Trump had problems.
Right.
This was 4 or 5 months ago.
Well, I say before then, during the campaign.
Yeah, they had problems before then, and it's got to the point now.
Flake.
Huh?
You're not talking about Flake.
Flake and the other guy, they had problems.
Corker.
If you go back,
No, Corker voted for him and supported him. He went to Secretary of State, but Flake didn't support him.
But Corker's not running for re-election either.
I'm saying, but Flake didn't support him. He didn't vote for Trump.
No, Flake and Trump, he was on board at one time.
Yeah. Who, Flake?
Flake was on board at one time.
But he did.
He didn't vote for Trump.
5 months ago, they had problems about Arizona. And that's when Trump got on Flake's behind.
So I would say this he could be a small Kaepernick.
All right. Let me say this. Since we're talking about Colin Kaepernick and something Mike said, if you all were in a room or at the game, because you all are going to the game.
Yeah, we're going to the game Sunday to see Washington and Dallas.
You plan on taking a knee?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a knee. Yeah, I'm gonna take a knee. Yeah, no, I'm gonna take a knee. I'm gonna take a knee, and probably most of the people on the bus is gonna take a knee. That's traveling with us.
Now, all due respect, right? I know you can take a knee, right? But it's hard to take a knee in those little seats, though.
Well,
I mean, I just saying.
No, you can take
tight in there. I get what you're saying.
You can take a knee wherever you want to take a knee.
Or you make the concession stand.
Well, wherever you want to take a knee, you can take a knee. You can take a knee in the aisle.
What you protesting?
Oh, okay.
What you taking a knee for?
Injustice.
Right. So you have anything to protest about?
Same thing about you.
What about you?
Injustice.
You don't have anything to protest about? You're not standing with Kaepernick? You're not standing with our people?
I don't have to take a knee.
No, you don't have to do that.
I'm protesting. I'm the only light skinned person out here. I'm the only light skinned guy on this panel. I'm protesting it right now. I'm taking a knee.
If you were in a room, what Mike was saying, and with folks, do you have the guts? Do you have the courage? That's all I'm asking. Do you have the guts and courage?
I just don't find it necessary.
I'm not talking about taking a knee if you're not doing it literally, but I'm just saying, do you have the courage to take a firm stand against injustice and all that? And everybody stand.
In other words, open the conversation, even if you don't. Yeah, in some way.
That's what I'm asking.
I probably won't initiate the conversation.
Yeah,
I'll shut it down.
Depending on which one of your buddies you came with, right?
Yeah.
Y'all a tough crew today. Y'all a tough crew.
Well, we know
today.
Conversation gonna have to start somewhere.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And it's starting with that guy Flake, because he's not only stepping down, he's speaking out.
You know, they had Rod Portman on.
We're gonna see how much he really speak out.
They had Rod Portman on today from Ohio. Chris Como or whatever is interviewing him. Man, that guy deflected everything. Didn't even want to say anything about Trump. But he's still running.
They scared.
They punks.
Okay.
So the other thing, when you talked about Nancy not on the show and not really revealing what it could, you never know what went on that room. You never know what she agreed to. So, like you said, we have to check our politicians.
I just
watch
and see how many people from here, from the people, started pressing their congressmen and their senators to do something about Donald Trump.
No, because he gets to be support his base still.
All right.
I'm still praying for the heart attack though.
35%. Okay, but you hold on to that. Like I said before the break, I said we got a big announcement to make, and I want to welcome Mr. Tiger Foot, operations manager from The Choice. Hi, Tiger. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, Tanya Free. How you doing there?
I'm doing fine.
Hey, man, I just wanted to call in and just say we wanted to officially welcome you to Choice 105.3 family of listeners. We are so excited about having the Tanya Free Show come aboard. We are the newest urban inspiration station in Richmond, Virginia, and we can't be more ecstatic about partnering with Freedom Marketing and Tanya Free right here from Richmond. This is an awesome opportunity for our listeners to learn more about political, social issues and to stand with someone who has stood on the right side of justice for a long time. Thank you so much. And again, from Choice 105.3, the first family of independent gospel radio, WQCN, where music ministry matters. Welcome aboard to the biggest love boat on the FM dial.
Thank you, Tiger.
Thank you, Tiger. We are truly, Tanya Free and friends, we are truly looking forward to being a part of The Choice, our new home at WQCN 105.3 FM. See, I got it down already. Thank you so very much, Tiger. We truly, truly appreciate it. Like I said, we're looking forward to it. And thank your father, too, Pastor Foot of Faith and Love Fellowship Church. We thank you so very much. And we're looking forward to the relationship. He still there? He's still there? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's it. You guys got a raise. That's why you got some new chairs in here too. You got new chairs. Oh, comfortable.
I know.
They was here last week.
Well, let me say the station again, because like I said, a lot of people have been asking as to where our new home is going to be. It's WQCN, The Choice at 105.3 FM. Every Wednesday from 2 to 4, as usual, our schedule. So, like I said, set your dial now on WQCN at 105.3 FM, okay?
Good spectrum?
So, oh, yeah.
Okay,
oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So,
check out the website. They have wonderful shows and other talk shows and things that are going on. Music, definitely. Music is awesome. Strong signal, everything. So, like I said, that's 105.3 FM, The Choice.
Gospel, okay.
Okay, so looking forward to that.
Yes, praying station.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You definitely tune in. Keep your dial tuned in 24/7. Okay.
Bless my heart.
Say what?
Bless my heart.
That's right.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
What's going on, Eric? I mean, you just.
No, I'm just tired.
We're all angry with regards to what's going on in the White House, and I think that things will not change until we do something.
Right.
Individually as well as collectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And very seriously. I mean, that's what our ancestors did.
Right.
And that's the bottom line. And it starts at home. What you were saying, at the dinner table. How many of us actually sit down and have dinner with our families?
Mm-hmm. Somebody
Yes.
said he read a book, right? They said the number one reason why people were successful, generally speaking, because they sat down at dinner and they talked, and it had a family gathering and talked
Right.
about issues and stuff. That
Right,
was
that's very important.
A segue.
Family is very, very important.
We used to do that.
Right,
I
and
used to do it when I was
and-
younger. I can't do it
well,
now.
and let me say this:
Yeah, we used
we have
to-
to pay attention to little things.
Right.
As to now, people are working 3 and 4, 5 jobs. That is, I'm looking at the big picture by design.
Yeah.
You know,
Or just
how
working
do
alone.
we break up the family?
Right.
Well, that's one way of breaking up the family.
Yeah.
By not being able to sit down at the dinner table and
Right.
have dinner, have conversation. And the other thing is what we are watching on TV. You know, a lot of the things you watch on TV, it's not a family-oriented type setting or show. You know, you had a lot of shows now with people, murders and homicides and blowing up
Itemized.
stuff. Yeah, and reality shows and that's so.
Cardi
The reality
B.
show, I don't watch reality TV,
Bro,
but
yellow.
is anything about that that's family oriented? You know, so think about the programming that we're watching as well. You know, the commercials, watch the commercials, and as to what they're feeding your mind. I've made a comment during the break as to the commercials that come on during various reality TV. You don't have any investment, things going on and talking about stuff like that. So, but that's about it. We out of time, everybody. As always, I thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing us the opportunity to speak and hopefully heard. Thanks to our listening friends. Blessings to each and every one of you. And of course, thanks to Eric, Maurice, Algie, Bill, Marcus, and Mr. Free. I'm Tanya Free. Until next time, be free. And remember to check us out on The Choice, 105.3 FM next week.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not